it was too late to fight. She's got us up inside your head. Now you're feeling like your heart's in a hurricane. Oh, now you're trying to figure out how to walk away. That's when love's got a hold on you, tearing you apart till you're breaking too. Trying to break the spell that she's put on you. That's when love's got a hold on you. Don't let her hold on. Now you're like the walking dead, no more living on the edge. What's the world going under? All you had is washed away, drowning in a falling rain. When did you lose your wonder? She's got you feeling like your heart's in a hurricane. Oh, don't you know it now until you walk away. That's when love's got a hold on you, tearing you apart till you're breaking too. Trying to break the spell that she's put on you. That's when love's got a hold on you. Well, that's when love's got a hold on you, tearing you apart till you're breaking too. Trying to break the spell that she's put on you. That's when love's got a hold on you. Love's got a hold on you. Yeah, yeah. She's got a hold on you. Love's got a hold on you. That's when love's got a hold on you. It's got a hold on. She's got a hold on.
Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We had that was Wicked Smile. Love's Got a Hold on You, and I have now on the line. I have Steve Janevski from Melbourne in Australia. How are you doing, Steve?
Yeah, very, very good, thank you. I think this is a fantastic cause that you've got happening here, so good on you, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's helping out young people, and that's the important thing. It's helping young people with using music, which and it is kind of rock based as well. Not always, but it is pretty rock based. We've got a lot of good rock bands coming out of there.
Absolutely. Well, mental health is a very important thing in my book, and so it's really, really cool, dude.
No, fantastic. I was just talking earlier on. Obviously, I spoke to you online yesterday. Well, it was yesterday for me, but it wasn't for you, was it?
Sure.
It was this morning for you.
That's right. It's a bit past 11 p.m. here, so it's almost tomorrow.
It's mad. I think you know this stuff. You know that the time difference between here and Australia, but it's that when you actually sit there and go, well, actually, I spoke to you in my last night before I went to bed, and I've been asleep, got up, had breakfast, come into the studio, and you've had your day. you were already in today.
And we're too far ahead into the future for our own good here in Australia.
Anyway, shall we talk about you? Shall we talk about Wicked Smile? Yes, it's your current and latest project. So tell me how it all come about, really. Because I've known about you since We Fall. You sent me your first single, We Fall. So yeah.
Yes.
Tell me all about it.
Indeed. Okay. I had the idea of putting something together late last year in 2019, and I started writing a couple of songs which had more of an old school heavy rock feel about them, kind of influenced by Judas Priest, Dio, Skid Row, so 70s, 80s bands, and I was pretty happy with the way things came out. Now I wrote the music for all the tunes and started writing some of the melodies as well, and I thought I'd run it by my good friend Paul Lane, who I've worked with in the past quite a bit, and I also play in his solo band from time to time. And so we started to, finish some of these songs together. So we co-wrote quite a few of them together, and then it was time to form a band. So basically in about December of last year, I started thinking, who am I going to get to sing this material? Because I wanted a good singer, of course. Yeah. And I thought, I'm going to go for one of the best, and one of the best definitely in Australia is a guy named Janevski, and he has played previously in bands in Australia called Pegasus and XI Fear as well, so he's in a band called I Fear more recently, and he wasn't doing anything because he left that band a couple of years ago, and he came down, had a sing on the first single, We Fall, and after he recorded his part, because I was with him in the studio, it gave me goosebumps how good his work was vocally. So he's phenomenal, a great singer. He looks great. He's got the best hair in rock and roll. Probably the longest hair in rock and roll. Have you seen a picture of him?
I've got that down as one of my questions. I got here. I watched your performance on the New Wave of Classic Rock Webfest 3, and I have to say I loved it. I was transfixed by Danny's hair. How long is it? It must be about, 8 inches off the floor? Something like that?
Well, it goes down to his ankle, so he gets a trim. And the thing is he's blessed because his hair has been that length for, since he was about the age of 20. So he's definitely got the hair gods and working with him. And, I'm actually surprised he's not doing Pantene commercials or shampoo commercials because
GHD.
It really is. It is amazing to see. And so, he is a great front man. He's a great singer and definitely can cut it live, as you've seen. And most importantly, he's just a fantastic person to work with. So I'm very, very happy to have him in the band. And then the band is also rounded out by bass player Glenn Cav, and I've known Glenn for many, many years because I went to high school with him, but never played in a band with him. So it was cool. All these years after that, I just called him up and I said, "Hey man, are you working in a band at the moment?" He wasn't really doing much, and so he joined the band. And we, on drums, we have a guy named Jason Tyro, and he's actually an ex-London boy. So he lived in the UK for up until the age of 20, and then got himself over to Australia. So things have worked out really, really well. In that time, we've released an EP, and we've got a new single out called Wait for the Night right now.
That's fantastic. And I mean, I've got to say, I've been following you since We Fall, which was your first single, wasn't it? Back in February, wasn't it?
We Fall was our, what was in January, I think.
Was it January, was
it? Yes. So, things have kind of come together quite quickly, and the beauty of it is that it's been received so well. Like people, the amount of, we sold out of our first 500 CDs pretty much through pre-order. So that was fantastic. So we're on our second batch now. I think we're up to about 780 or something. And then also people have been buying the T-shirts and merch. So the support for the band has been fantastic. And there's obviously fans from previous bands that we've been in, but also there's also people have just discovered us, and it's the ultimate compliment when people are buying the music, the hard copies, or buying T-shirts. So we've been overwhelmed by that kind of stuff.
I mean, obviously you've been, I would say as respectfully as possible, but you've been around a little while now in other bands. Yeah. And how have you found? I mean, obviously, quite within the last 2-3 years, the new wave of classic rock has really taken off. And I don't know what that is. Sorry, there's a bleeping in my ears. New wave of classic.
That would be, that would probably be just via Messenger.
I've just turned my Facebook off of my computer in case it was that. That's fine.
Okay.
So I was going to say, new wave of classic rock. You seem to have embraced the platform and the Facebook group. I mean, I think we kind of, that's how I heard from you because your music was sent to me. But obviously the likes of Jeremy Wells and so on, new wave of classic rock have embraced you as well. I mean, the Webfest thing, how did you find that? I mean, it was a great video.
I'm a big, thank you. I'm a big believer in appreciating anyone who appreciates what I do or what we do as a band. So I have known the guys for quite a while, and when I saw their Facebook group come out, I think I was in the first 100 people part of the group, and wow. So I bought a T-shirt just to show my support, and because they were getting behind some of the stuff that I was doing, so it works both ways. So just like what you're doing yourself, Mike, we all need each other to elevate music, and get it back to the forefront, of or the mainstream or whatever. I mean, it depends on what your aim is and goal is, but I actually like the idea of rock music being on the radio and stuff because it's been swept under the carpet for too long. So,
I love it. I mean, as I say, I do a rock show on a station that plays all sorts of music. So I got a specific and the sort of specialist show. Luckily, a lot of my colleagues also play rock as well. It's an intense 3 hours on a Tuesday night normally, but we've got 24 hours of it today. But
awesome.
And I mean, I do it because I just love it. And it's simple as that, really. Yeah. I've personally been a DJ for years, playing music that everyone else wants to listen to, maybe by the audience. But now I'm playing music that I want people to listen to and think should be shared. And and I think nearly 2/3 of my show is new music, and I think that's what people. I think, especially the type of music that you're playing, and I think you probably might agree with me. It's like you said, you were influenced by the likes of Judas Priest and the old 80s classic rock, but a lot of people of my age. I mean, I'm 54 years old. Only listen to the music that they listen to at the time, and don't really realise what's coming through. And I think that's changed, don't you? I think with the new wave of classic rock, there's a lot more people now listening to the new bands playing in that style. And that's what's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is, absolutely. And, like you mentioned before, I think that whether it be a DJ or a band, fans, it's really part of the same pie, and it works, kind of around like a wheel that with everyone supporting each other, it helps propel, what we're trying to sort of get done here with getting the music across. But you're right. It's one of those things of sometimes you'll get people who are open to listening to new stuff. Sometimes if it happens by chance, people stumble across, certain bands. But, with shows like yourself that is playing two-thirds new music, that's brilliant. It really is, because I wish there were more stations like yours, because I've heard TNT by AC/DC on our rock station here for the last 40 years, and it really hasn't changed. It's the same songs all the time. Now, surely there's other stuff that they can play, but it just seems like it's just not enough. I'm talking about the big stations here. And it's just the same old thing. And unless you get somebody who's going to take a risk, it just doesn't change. And that's a real bummer.
But you've got great music coming out from Australia. I mean, you've been involved in that as well. I mean, you've got the Radio Sun. You have,
Absolutely.
You have Massive. You have. Hang on, am I right? Is The Answer Australian as well, or they just sound like AC/DC?
Sorry?
Was The Answer Australian?
No, the answer is Australian. No,
They just sound like AC/DC.
Yeah.
That was it.
bluesy AC/DC. And I actually played a show with them in Germany with my other the other band that I used to be in, Black Majesty. So it was a strange billing, which is a cool billing, but it was really metal mixed with some classic rock bluesy stuff, and it was cool. They were lovely guys, and they were a band as well. But yeah, no, we've got a lot of up and coming artists. Airborne, an Australian artist who's been doing really well.
That's what I was thinking of. That's why, I got my brain a bit fried.
And they are doing well. But the only downside is that they're doing well as a result of touring and living overseas, which is a little bit the tall poppy syndrome thing that happens in Australia. It seems like you've got to get out of the country, have a bit of success before you start making some waves. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be more people supporting you right from the beginning. But I mean, obviously there are people, who will go out and support, but the same group of people who seem to be doing that. It's not the masses.
Yeah. Well, you are also a very musical family, and immediately before I played Love's Got Hold on You, I played Like I Never Loved You, which was the latest single from Cassidy Paris, who happens to be your daughter.
That's right. Yeah.
As I discovered yesterday, I never put two and two together, and I knew that you played guitar for her, but I didn't realise that. For some reason.
Well, I think some of it has to do with the name, because Cassidy is her first name and Paris is her middle name, and her surname is Janevski. But we dropped that because it's not as memorable, basically. Yeah. So she goes by Cassidy Paris. So that's why some people don't put it together. But yeah, Cassidy's has now just she's in her final year of high school, so she's 17 years of age, and since the age of about 13 or 14. She's been releasing music, so I think this is her sixth or seventh single, and which has been all videos released for all singles. So she's put in a lot of hard work with her music as well. So, since she was a young kid, she was coming to see me perform at places like the Hard Rock Cafe in Melbourne, and watching me from a very, very young age. Like I'm talking like 3-4 years old. So she's grown up with music. I taught her how to play at an early age, and she started singing not long after that, and just has a love for music. So it's just, again, proud dad moment, to see my daughter have that much of a love for music. It's just beautiful. Definitely.
And I mean, her music is a little bit more mainstream. It's rock, but it's probably more mainstream rock. Is that going? Yes, how is she getting on in Australia? Is she getting the airplay in Australia as well?
It seems like the same thing. You get more support from overseas than what you do in your own country. Again, even though it is more mainstream, there's not enough support for rock artists, particularly being a girl, female fronted, and she's a solo artist. It's in some ways even harder. But that's okay. I mean, there's been, she's a pretty strong kid. Originally, it was quite difficult and challenging because she used to be given a bit of a hard time for wanting to play rock and roll when she went to high school. But she's developed thick skin now, and I'm also very proud of the fact that she is an advocate for anti-bullying as well. And she actually goes around and performs at schools and talks to kids about how bullying is not okay and stuff. So that's great.
I just got goosebumps listening to you say that, because I can 100% relate. I think I spoke to you off air that my son, he plays guitar in a rock band, and he has had long hair pretty much as long as I can remember as a child, and all the way through primary school, early year, the first couple of years of secondary school, your high school. He was bullied for being different, and until the end he had to deal with the bullies the way that you can't condone, but it worked. And then he went round, as he got older, he then, as you say, advocated against bullying, supported the people, younger people that were getting bullied, and stood up for them. And it's, and as you say, you become that thick skin. And I mean, a lot of the music they write is quite angry through the sort of stuff that they've had to go through, because they're a little bit different, and they're not listening to what they're being told to listen to. They're listening to what they want to listen to.
Yeah, good. And you know what? Good on him. Like from an early age, if you make those kind of decisions, again, it does take a lot of strength. Actually, one of our songs, Wicked Smile songs called Chikonga, is I based the lyrics loosely on my daughter, about what she went through in year 7 and 8, about some kids who just like heavy metal, hard rock, that kind of stuff. Why do you want to do that? And it wasn't what all the other kids were doing. A lot of the other kids, the rock music wasn't really the flavour of the week worldwide, let alone at her school. But it's one of those things also, though. She, in the end, has gained respect, because some kids now who used to give her a hard time actually think she's pretty cool, because she's actually stuck with it and stuff. So Absolutely. It's funny how things work, but at the same time, that doesn't make it right either.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But exactly the same. He's got a lot of respect from people now, because he's playing local bars around here. He's 16. He's a year behind her. He's just finished.
That's awesome.
They just finished. He's finished secondary school. He's now at music college. So he's doing what we call sixth form. So years 13 and 14. Is that right? 11 12 and 13. Yeah, years 12 and 13. Yep. So he's now doing that. But he's doing it at a music college, so he's now with like-minded people, if you like. So,
fantastic,
learning music production and everything like that. So, has Cassidy written all of this stuff, her own music, and she's been writing for years, but she co-writes with a friend of mine, Paul, who I introduced her to. So she has Paul as kind of like her mentor. And Paul and Cassidy have been writing now for about 5 years together, and it's just a fantastic to have somebody guide her. I guess being dad, sometimes you need to have that separation. You're kind of like, Dad, I've had enough, kind of thing. So I'm glad that Paul has sort of taken the reins there. Is this Paul Lane?
Yes, I mentioned earlier because.
He's from the Defiance, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. And he was a solo artist and also ex-Danger Danger, and now, as you mentioned, he's in the Defiance. So Paul has kind of taken on that role of helping and guiding Cassidy with her songwriting, which is fantastic. So as time has gone on, the ideas have really come to fruition in regard to the way things keep getting better. So Cassidy will normally come up with an idea and then pass it on to Paul, and Paul will give her feedback, and then they'll work on some stuff together.
Okay. I noticed that Paul was credited on the writing of your material as well. So you obviously worked together with him. How did that come about, working with Paul? Yeah,
I probably about 7 or 8 years ago, I contacted Paul just via Facebook. Had no idea that we were going to become best of friends like we are now. And I just sent him a message asking would he be interested in listening to my band, The Radio Sun, in regards to mixing the band. And then he had a listen to the stuff and liked the stuff. And so I've worked with Paul. He's been producing my stuff, and we've been working together ever since. So for me, it's about friendship as well, and working with good people, and he certainly is that. So I've worked with many people in the past, and everyone is different, but Paul and I just hit it off in regard to it's just a really easy to work with relationship, and since then I've also become part of his backing band. So I've performed all over the world with him. Played obviously in the UK. We played HRH, AOR Fest, together. We performed in Greece, we performed obviously in Australia, so America, we've performed there a couple of times, so it's just a really good friendship. So yeah, I've been playing lead guitar in a solo band as well.
Ah, I see. Okay, I mean, I discovered the Defiance through your music, so it works both ways. I was like, well, who is this Defiance I don't know about? So that's when I was reading your bio when you first sent through your first single, and I thought, well, who are they? And so I checked them out, and brilliant. I was it Uncross Your Heart? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Shall we play one of your songs and then come back to you in a second?
Absolutely.
Shall we do that? I've got Days of Delirium because I thought that might be. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's must be a little. Has it got a bit about mental health in that the writing of that song?
Yeah, it certainly does, and it was just one of those things that I wanted to touch on. So it worked perfectly for your show today.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. I chose this song particularly to play while I was talking to you because that's the lyrics seemed really poignant for today. So should we listen to that now? And I'll come back to you in a second. All right.
You again. Now you got me flying.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was Wicked Smile and Days of Delirium, and that is from the Delirium EP, I believe. We still have Steve online. How are you doing? It was Delirium.
Well,
that was the EP. Was the Delirium, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was
Track 4.
That was track. Yeah, and it was, as you were just saying offline, that the reason I couldn't find Stronger on the internet was because it wasn't released. It was so that people would buy the hard copy of the CD because it had the extra track on it.
It's only available on the EP CD. Which it'll probably end up on the album because it's a song that people have really liked. So we're writing a full-length album for next year, probably aiming at mid-year release approximately at this stage. So the aim is to have about 10 or 11 songs, and the aim is to have 10 or 11 quality songs. So we don't want to rush it. The support and the response have been fantastic. So
Nice.
Fingers crossed everything continues to go that way.
That's fantastic. I've got to do a little bit of an off-the-wall question for you. Okay, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news over here in the UK, but our Chancellor of the Exchequer over here has suggested that if your job has become unviable, you must retrain and do something else, and that was primarily aimed at the music and arts industry. If your government were to say the same ludicrous thing, what would you do as a career away from music? What would you look at to retraining into?
Oh, well, that is a strange. That's a.
Have you not heard that down there on the news?
No, I haven't. No,
basically, he's only given us 1.57. I say only. He's apparently giving 1.57 billion to the arts industry to help them through the COVID, because obviously there are no bands working. That means there's no sound engineers working. There's no stage builders, no road crews. Nobody's, and they're all freelance, so they can't be furloughed or anything like that, which is the support that they've had. A lot of the businesses have had. So they're all absolutely out of the pocket with very, very little support, financial. And he's basically going, well, that's your lot, and if you can't survive on that, retrain and get another job.
It breaks my heart. Just before I do answer your question, I was chatting with a guy named Dave from Trillions just recently in Newcastle at the venue. Do you know of the place?
Yes, I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Because I've performed there quite frequently over the couple of years that I've performed in the United Kingdom, and it just breaks your heart what all these venue owners are going through, and obviously for the bands as well. It's a real mess, and I actually was performing on acoustic with my daughter in Australia, and I was wearing a Trillions t-shirt, and a few people said to me, "Trillions, that's cool," and then Dave actually shared my post and just said, "Look, that's really cool," and blah blah blah. And I said, "Man, I feel so bad for what's happening around the world. I mean, obviously it's hit me hard as an artist, but also for all the other people, because like we mentioned before, there's so many things that are part of live music, not only the bands themselves. So it's terrible. Now, outside my music side, I'm actually also a primary school teacher. I'm a substitute. Yeah, I'm a substitute primary school teacher, and I've chosen to be a substitute teacher because I often can't commit to full time because of music, because sometimes I'm not even in the country. So I have a passion for teaching. I just love the job. I really do, and I love helping people in as many ways as I can, whether it be if I'm teaching math or English, all the way through to the arts of music or graphic art and so on. So I could never give up music, but even if I am not making money from it, and sometimes I'm not, I would still do it because, as we mentioned off air, we do this because we have a passion and a love for music, not necessarily for all the other accolades. And particularly most bands that are playing, or most people who are on the radio and stuff, they are doing it pretty much because they love it.
Absolutely. So you're a genuine. Mr. Schneebly then, pretty much.
I'm sorry,
Mr. Schneebly from School of Rock.
Yeah. I've got the qualifications, right? I think didn't he actually just take his friend?
He took his friend. Yeah. Well, Mr. Schneebly genuinely was the name of the correct, the original person. But yeah, because he was what was he? Dewey was Dewey, wasn't it, or something like that? I love it when I'm in the moment and I just can't think of anything. I can't think of the words, and then you ask me in 5 minutes' time, I'll know.
Yeah, and he actually, he plays a substitute emergency teacher, right? So that's cool. But I actually love that. I actually even took a photo of the blackboard, how he talked to the kids about the birth of heavy metal or classic rock, and it went all the way from Zeppelin to Black Sabbath to and so on. So Def Leppard, and it was awesome. It really was cool.
Yeah, definitely.
In some ways, yes, yeah. So I really love my job. It's different every day because I go from class to class, but it's it's very fulfilling. Between it gives me a little bit of a rest and a bit of a break with my music. But kids are honest, man. They'll keep you honest.
Yeah. I mean, so how is the world down there at the moment? I mean, obviously, I know what we're going through here in Britain, and we're like going through a second wave at the moment, and it looks like our lockdowns are tightening again. But our schools are still open. So how are things for you? I mean, are you having to? Is it a normal norm, or are you having to have smaller classes and so on at the moment?
It just depends where you actually live in Australia. But where I live in Melbourne, Australia, it's been terrible, Mike.
Yeah.
We've been pretty much in lockdown for, I know this may sound strange, but for about 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
And we're doing better. I think today that the cases were at about 15 or 16, but we're trying to get them down to about 5 before we ease restrictions.
Yeah.
So for the last couple of months, you're allowed to go out for 1 hour to go do your groceries, get a little bit of exercise. Otherwise, it's all at home. And that's why our video Wait for the Night reflects us all in our studios. So, and we've been recording all in isolation as well because Melbourne's been hit the worst in the whole of Australia. So
right.
I think there was cases were out of control about 6 months ago, and we're past 1,000. It was bad, so that's why it just had to get that harsh. So, but having said that, other parts of Australia are doing fine, and they've still got their football on, and they've got they're all going to school, and whereas all the kids here have been homeschooled for a long time,
right?
Including my kids. I have been fortunate enough that I have been teaching the essential workers kids at school, so I've actually kept my emergency job.
Yeah.
For those 20 or 30 kids that are of essential workers, whether it be parents that are nurses or police or you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the kids are just going to go back to school as of next week. Right. So they're going to try it. So we'll see how that goes. So fingers crossed, man. Because it's been tough.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say over here, I think our kids went back to school like at the beginning of September as if they were normal. I mean, I don't. Yep. Well, having said that, I don't have any children left at school anymore. I've just got the son. Okay. My son who's at college, and that's only 2.5 days a week now, which is supposed to still full-time education, but it's only 2.5 days a week. I'm not complaining because you can go out and work the rest. But they've kind of gone back, and our government has pretty much said that they'll be the last things to stop because we can't stop the kids' education. But having said that, I live in the southwest. We're talking from Plymouth here, and which I know you've been to.
Yes, I performed.
You have. I'll come back to that one in a second. But we've been pretty okay, pretty much, because I mean, Devon, for instance, is one of the largest counties in the UK, but with one of the lowest populations. So we've been pretty okay because people are pretty well dispersed until Exeter University came back. And now it's the 5th highest rate of growth rate of the COVID in Exeter, and it's through the university. And everyone coming from all over the country and going to Exeter University, and it's just spread like wildfire through the halls and so on. So
are people wearing masks? Or
yeah, they're supposed to, but you know what? We've got all this civil rights going on. It's against our civil rights. Anyway, let's not talk about that because that's doom and gloom. Let's talk about good stuff. And how I didn't get to see you last year when you came to Plymouth with the Radio Sun, I really did, because I mean I'm also a massive fan of Saints of Sin as well, and I think that they were supporting you, weren't they? And you,
that's right, yeah.
You played at the Underground, didn't you?
Yeah, that was organised by a good friend named Ryan Dainty. Do you know that name?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
we're mates, so.
Yeah, well, he organised that one, and it was good fun to perform in Plymouth, and just, it's all about expanding and spreading the word in terms of the band. So it was good fun. There's some technical glitches I think that night with an amp not work or something, but that's rock and roll. But we got there.
Well, it's an interesting venue. It's what you call compact. Yeah, that's one of the ones that's actually open and managed to do live music as well at the moment, apparently under COVID guidance. So it is actually and its sister pub across the road, the Junction, did their first live music since lockdown last night. They had a Muse tribute band in last night, so they've done the first live music under the COVID guidance, table service and so on. That was last night, so it's kind of starting to creep back, which is a good thing. That's brilliant.
That's nice, and that's a positive. I would. It's going to be very interesting. I think, particularly people in Australia, I'm hoping that there's a huge demand for people to just go out and see bands. But then again, with the way things are, like, it seems like it's never going to be the same for a little while. But anyway, again, let's stay positive.
I think we'll find a way, and it's about adapting, isn't it? And that's what we've got to do. I don't know if you heard about King Creature did a gig in the Yard. They basically the guys one of the guys and their manager work in a yard in Cornwall. It's a recycling yard. And what they did was they cleared the whole of the yard, drew massive 2-meter squares all over it, and then sold the squares. They put a gig on basically with 3 bands, and they had, although the capacity I would imagine of the yard in normal world would probably have been about 500, 600, 700, maybe 800, something like that. They put a capacity about 150, and basically you could have you and your bubble in each square, so you could have 4 people in each square, but you were then 2 meters away from everyone else, and it seemed to go down really, really well. But it was an outdoor venue, so it was an outdoor event. But so people are looking at ways of getting it back. You guys are going to be getting ready for winter soon, right? In a couple of months. That is right. Yes. So we need to find indoor venues.
Yeah, and see that, and that's why our kids have been in school the whole time, because our kids go to school from February to December.
Yeah.
So our summer's coming up, so it's going to be interesting. I'm got my fingers crossed, and but having said that, it's easier to be on a down vibe about it. With Wicked Smile, we've been really on the up, and just going, you know what, let's use this as an opportunity for hopefully people to take a chance on a new band like Wicked Smile, and that's what's kind of happened with us, and people have really embraced it. So it's been very positive that way.
Well, I was going to say, so are you likely to bring Wicked Smile over to the UK?
It would be the plan, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, it just weekends when we can. The same thing with Cassidy. I mean, we want to. This is her final year, and she was actually planning to perform in the UK next year, but we'll see what happens there.
We get you, Defiance, and Cassidy on one bill. Bring you all over, and you can come and play at Livewire. The Livewire Youth Project that we're raising money for today is also has a 240 capacity venue with a full size stage and fully equipped Allen and Heath sound system with the works. So we've done a couple of great events. We've had Bad Touch play there. We've had Phil Campbell and his sons, and loads and loads of great bands, King Creature and Dax and Roxanne, Aaron Buchanan. I could name loads. They've all the Damned.
Yeah. I've actually played a show with Buchanan. I think it was really good, actually. Yeah, cool. Man, look, Mike, it definitely is a plan for because Wicked Smile is a real band, and we are going to be touring, and there has been a lot of interest, and so we're very, very excited about things. Obviously, I'm still doing the Radio Sun, but we have taken a bit of a break because we've worked so hard. I mean, we released 5 albums and 1 EP in 5 years, and toured the UK 4 times on separate occasions. We've toured America 3 times. We've been to Japan, so it's just a nice little break in between.
Brilliant. Right, Steve, I think we might have to wrap it up there a little bit now, because I think we've got another interview on at 2:00. So, but I think it's been amazing to talk to you, and I can't believe how the time's gone. So you're nearly at 10 to tomorrow.
Yes, well, that's right. We're 10 minutes away. We're 10 minutes away from it being Sunday morning. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, all the best with the next 23, 22 hours for you guys.
Yeah.
I think it's an awesome cause, as I said, and I'm happy that I was part of it in a small little way. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sign off with playing your first single. Steve Janevski from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you ever so much. Absolutely brilliant. And this is We Fall from Wicked Smile.